so much pain throughout the years with the Knicks.
She made it extremely clear in that moment, like, you should not post this.
Hello and welcome to the JTrain podcast. It's JTrain, Jared Freid, coming to you live from Delray Beach, Florida. That's right. Every Wednesday is a Chit Chat Wednesday where I sit with a comedian, a friend, an expert. Today I have all three. They're a comedian, they're a friend, and they are an expert in not knowing how to use Riverside. I can't believe we just had that many issues with the sound. Eric Neumann, thank you for coming on the show.
Well, JTrain, thanks for having me. And also, if you really were a friend, you would expect this from me. I will say that.
I just can't believe. I was literally telling you, hit the audio button, and then you were like, I couldn't believe I needed to hold your hand as much as I just needed to hold your hand to do this audio.
You know what? You're making me a little sad because I physically can't hold your hand right now, man. I'm sad that you're far away.
No hand holding. How are you? You have a special that's coming out July 13th. Everyone should go check it out. I haven't been able to watch it yet, because it's not out. We're taping this before so that it can come out right around July 13th. If I'm looking at the calendar, this will be out on the 14th. So the next day you can go watch it. It's called Call Your Mom. You said it's like a documentary. Explain it.
Yeah, so basically it's like I call my mom from stage a lot. So like I compiled like all the footage from around the country like together and sort of made it into like, it took like a year and a half. It was kind of like, because it's weird, like when you're editing like from like like when you have the whole skeleton and then you're editing, you just have to make choices with sound and angles or whatever. With this, I really had to like edit. It was like a puzzle. Like I just threw it up in the air and tried to put pieces together. And like, so it's basically I call my mom on stage and then I made like a compilation of all that footage and kind of created like a story arc through it. So it's like a special / documentary because it goes kind of into like a deeper relationship with my mom. And so yeah, it's we tried something new.
You got to do something different. That sounds fun. If I called my mom from on stage, it would be a lot of like, what, where? It would be like a lot of questions that wouldn't help move story along. How do you make sure that it doesn't go that way?
I think it's just like we have had some fails for sure, but I think like my mom, so I basically the process was I would just like, my mom like really wants to talk to me wherever I travel all the time. I'm sure you can relate to this to some degree.
Sure.
So I would like call her from stage. It started with me just kind of like checking in with her and I kind of made it fun with the audience and interacted and stuff. And then, so I would just tell her, I'd be like, I'll be in San Francisco. Like I'd be like at Cobb's or whatever. And I'd be like, and she's like, oh God, now I have to research about San Francisco. So she would like research some stuff and talk about it. And then I would like put her and the audience kind of in comfortable positions, like asking like really like awkward questions or whatever. And I would have my mom react. I would kind of like try to trap her into like a racial thing, and then she would like kind of dig her way out of it. It'd be fun.
Why would you do this to your mom?
Dude. She's bored. She encourages it. She's like a good sport, you know?
Well, it's funny because you're like, I gotta tell you, I could relate to like your mom wants to know where you're going and what's going on. But I feel like if I got there within like an hour, I would have like 7 calls from my mom. Like, how is she able to wait until you're on stage at night to like hear from you? Like mine wouldn't be able to wait.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I still usually have missed calls from her before I get up there. But the frustrating part is like when I try to call her, I'm like, I'm going to call my mom. And then she doesn't pick up or something. I'm like, shit. A lot of times, dude, I'll like realize because she works at Bloomingdale's. She's like in customer service at Bloomingdale's. 59th Street one. So a lot of times I won't realize she's at work and she'll like be on the phone with me for 5 minutes talking about like a couple in the front row's like dating scenario, and basically like will be very vocal about the fact that the guy's taking too long to propose or whatever. Like some poor front row couple who did not know this was going to happen to them. And then
they're like, we've been together 2 years, and your mom's like, when are you moving in? Like looking at each other like, what the hell?
And also, Jared, I'm deflecting, right? Because it takes the pressure off me for a moment, right? I get to like put this on this poor victim, couple that are victims to the scenario, and I don't have to hear about it for a minute. But then like she'll talk about it for a minute or two. We'll dive deep into their relationship, and then she'll be like, "Yes, hi, can I help you?" Like she's been at work the whole time. I'm like, this is hilarious. hilarious, dude.
What was the first time that made you call her on stage?
I think she called me one time, and I think I was probably bombing and was like, oh, let me pick up my mom's call. 'Cause you know when you're just having like a rough one and you're like, I need to try. I mean, that's how we got good at crowd work, right? It's like, it's crowd work is kind of like, I love it, but it's like crowd work has been a thing that's been able to get you out of really tough situations, right? It's like, it's a skill to have in your back pocket. So I feel like I was probably at this point, either I was really feeling it or I was bombing so hard that my mom started calling and I was like, Mommy, save me.
Right.
And
we are sponsored by Lola Blankets. Fall is already around the corner. Can you believe it? Get ready for the cozy seasons ahead with Lola Blankets. Lola is the #1 blanket crafted with ultra soft and stretchy fabric. It's crazy comfortable, machine washable, and built to last for years. I love my Lola blanket, but you know what I love about it the most? My mom likes it. This is a giftable thing that we got going on here. Lola Blankets is a great gift. It's a gift that's going to make someone really be happy. Oh my God. Even if they already have one, they're going to put it in another room in the house and it's going to make that room look a little bit elevated. And it's going to make you the favorite son, the favorite daughter, the favorite granddaughter. People love to be comfy cozy. Lola Blankets is giving someone the gift of comfy cozy. Lola is the go-to gift for anyone in your life. Any home, any style. It's simple luxury people will actually use. Be sure to check out Lola's weighted blankets and matching pillows and save when you bundle. For a limited time, JTrain fans can get 40% off select Lola blanket products with code FEATHER. That's code FEATHER at checkout. Just head to LOLAblankets.com. Use code FEATHER to get 40% off your order. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them, support the show, and tell them JTrain sent you. Wrap yourself in luxury with Lola Blankets. Crowd work can be like an energy reset, a show reset, and that's like a good way to kind of like make people forget about the garbage that happened before and kind of acknowledge that it hasn't gone the way we want. Let me just go into this crowd. Like there's so many times where I've started crowd work and like, I'm like, hey, what's your name? And they're like, I'm from San Diego. And I'm like, see, everybody, this show sucks because of you. Like, it's like, it makes you almost feel, you're like, oh, you guys are all stupid. It's not me. It's not the jokes. Yeah.
And I've seen you so many times. Like you have so many like reset lines, and sometimes I'm just like, that was fucking brilliant. Because like I as a comic, I like just appreciate what you're doing, and I'm like, fuck, that was so brilliant. But you're right. It almost divides the set into like quarters. Like for a sports analogy, it's like you have like a bad end of the first quarter, and you're like, all right, we're gonna have a timeout now. We're gonna kind of come together again. The crowd work are almost those like commercial breaks where sometimes if you're where you're like, okay, I can reset here. We have like new energy going in.
Right. You can stop the other team's momentum, and the other team being the crowd. Yeah, they're having momentum beating the crap out of you with their zero laughs. So you did it over the course of a year and a half. I mean, like, so every show, are you calling your mom? Was it like, did it get to the point where you're like how many different interactions do you have in the special?
I have probably like, I'd say probably when I was like, I'm not really touring as much as I was right now, but I would say probably for the 3-4 years that I was like on the road all the time, I'd say like 90% of the time, somewhere in the like 35 to 50 minute mark of the set, I would call my mom for like 5 minutes. So I probably had a total, I'm just totally guessing here, but I probably had almost an hour, if not more, of footage with her. And then we had to kind of make the decisions of just like killing some of the minutes off that either weren't funny enough, interesting enough, too repetitive, or like didn't serve the purpose of the through line of the special, you know?
And the through line is you getting to know her better, or like
the through line is like, so there's 3 elements. So I had a first like version of it. And then like actually Ray Romano and Judd Apatow were 2 people who were really instrumental in sort of like the creative growth of it, because they watched it and were like, Ray was incredibly supportive and gave me like a thesis on it. and told me, oh, this is great, but like work on this little part or like add this. We could have a little more. And then Judd was like, you need characters to change. It was like such a Apatow way of looking at it, which is just like from a story arc, you need your character needs to grow, her character needs to grow. So it's like a lot of it is like, and I feel like sort of like mimics like sort of what I know a lot about you and your relationship with dating and your parents, in the sense that like they really want, my mom really wants me to settle down. She's really frustrated with it. I think she's almost gotten to the point where she kind of has given up, which is a nice place to be. It feels really good. But so yeah, I don't actually remember what your original question was because I fucking go off on an arc, but
what was the through line? What did the through line become? That was my original.
So the through line is basically like a kind of, we really go deeply sort of into how close we are, what our bond is, and sort of like her displeasure with my career, B, my love life, or you could flip those in whatever order. I think she would probably say love life first, career second. But it's basically sort of just like how I push back very hard on this stance of like, I can be alone. I don't have to get married or whatever. And then sort of through it, I change a little bit in the way I see the world, and she changes and comes to a place of acceptance in my life. And so like, we're kind of growing together in this journey, and it's only a half hour, a little less than a half hour, but it's like essentially like a half hour special or short form documentary. But I think we do a good job. I'm proud of where it is,
Well, it's funny because calling your mom from the road is like, it doesn't do anything. Like, if your plane crashed, you're dead. You don't call. Like, calling, and she would have known without your call. Like the call doesn't mean the plane didn't crash. She would have found out, or that, I guess there's an element of like, you got taken by the Uber driver or whatever. But the call doesn't do anything. And it's funny, like you being in a relationship is like a weird, like nothing. Like, but I do understand where like my mom, she's like happy I'm in a relationship because someone else is worrying about me. And which is a crazy perspective because she's like, okay, I got someone else has eyes on him is like the reason my mom wants me in a relationship, but never pushed for it. Like she never, when it came down to it, it did feel like good. You're someone else's burden, which is not what someone wants to date. Which is like their perspective on why they want us in a relationship is like the last thing someone would want to get into. They're like, I don't want to I don't need a kid.
Right. Well, that's why, and also for the relationship, like to thrive, like I think women generally sense how important it is to get in with your mother and vice versa, because they really are a team, like they're a team together. Right.
Well, that's what she's trying to make happen. Like, I don't think like I'm not dating someone to be a team with their family.
Right.
Like that would be like, I don't want to like the dad to be like, oh, finally. Okay. Well, that happens sometimes, I guess we're saying it from a nurturing standpoint, but from like, in kind of like an old school way, where a financial way that, you do go to some weddings where it's like, finally, I don't have to take care of her anymore. I got this new guy and he can pay for her to go to Bloomingdale's. And you're like that's a version of it that I'm not aiming for either.
At all, yeah.
Okay, listen to me. I need you to understand something about your morning. The coffee you are making at home is not as good as it could be. You know it. I know it. Here's where Cometeer comes in. Cometeer is a completely different way to make coffee without a machine. They source beans from award-winning roasters like Onyx, Counterculture, and Intelligentsia. Precision brew the coffee at 10 times the strength, then flash freeze it at peak flavor in fully recyclable aluminum capsules. You can make any style of coffee, iced, hot, or espresso style at home in seconds. I've been raving about Cometeer for years because the coffee's so damn good. I don't need to add any sweetener or creamer. Just let the coffee speak for itself. The former president of Nespresso literally invested in Cometeer after trying it. Imagine spending years building Nespresso, taking one sip of Cometeer and going, uh-oh. That guy basically tasted it and switched teams. Here's how Cometeer works. You keep the capsules in your freezer. When you want hot coffee, you hit the little eject button, drop the frozen puck into your mug, and melt it with hot water. For iced coffee, pour a thawed capsule over ice water. For an iced latte, pour it over milk and ice. That's it. No machine, no grinder, no cleaning. 2 seconds. I have been buying Cometeer coffee for years, and then I even bring them with me on flights. Yes, they're TSA approved. So if you're someone who loves coffee but hates the production of coffee, this is your answer. Let me just tell you, I am a customer. I love Cometeer. It is the best tasting coffee you've ever had. You're going to put it in your freezer, and you're going to love it forever. I'm telling you, I was on the subscription service. So go to Cometeer.com/JTrain for $20 off your order. That's Cometeer, COMETER.com/JTrain. You're going to get $20 off. I am so excited for you to try it. Let me know what you think, because it is the best coffee I've literally ever had, and I'm making it at home.
By the way, the money part of, I read your book, love it, by the way, dude.
Thank you, man.
So smart, and I have to shout out a couple specific points that I love the most. First, you just reminded me of it. The money aspect, where you dedicate that paragraph to like the differences with how like people in relationships perceive money and how it can be a breaking point for people, or you can get through it or whatever. I thought was super. Like, I didn't realize until I got a little older how important that aspect of things was. Like, just two people coming in with two different financial experiences, growing up, as an adult.
Oh my God. I mean, like, to me, like, I look at everything, even, like comedy relationships, through some sort of prism of money. And I think most people do that, like.
Yeah. And I loved the ending line, which was like two pages before the book ends, where you go, and for God's sakes, let someone you dated leave an airport on his own, or whatever the line was. So funny, dude.
Thank you.
I also love it because I go like sometimes like uncomfortably deeply personal, and I've gotten pushback on that before, where people are just like, okay, we don't need to know all that or whatever. And I've come to you because I look at you as like the social media like guru with this shit. Like, I've always
I wish I was better at it.
No, dude, I've always, I've come to you throughout the years and been like, oh, Jared, I'm in trouble with a woman again for something I said on a podcast. And you're like, and I tell you what it is, and you're like, yeah, that was probably too much or whatever. But I really, what I loved about the book is you went so personal, like, and you still managed to be like really respectful. Like, I remember we were talking outside the cellar 2 weeks ago or whenever it was when you were in New York. And you were like, yeah, I feel like I'm like going to be talking about some more personal stuff. I hope like they take it okay or whatever. And I remember you told me the scenarios, and I was like, oh my God, I'm such a piece of shit. The fact that he's worrying about this with the stuff that I've done in the past, like, it made me feel like a worse person, but I was also like admired you at the same time. So I was like, yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, like, that was the only way to, dating has been done. And like, what's my advice to someone dating? Like, I don't know, be vulnerable, be personable, and, dump someone if you don't like them anymore. Like, how is that any different from anyone else than to give my own experience? So I appreciate it. Yeah, you got to go personal without, like, the other way to go personal is to like trash someone. And it's like, that's not what I was looking to do.
Well, I did. And you were with me through, like, remember I used to talk to you after I went through that horrible breakup?
Yeah.
And I would like tell you about it, and you knew who the person was or whatever. So I was so like, my instincts, my heartbroken instincts were, oh, fuck her, let me trash her or whatever. But when I did a special Almost Engaged, which was basically about the breakup and like post breakup. And I really, really, really took the time to, I think, like, comb through and make sure that all of it was my perspective and my experience through that heartbreak, without being like, what a bitch, what a, whatever. And like, now looking back on it, I watched it recently again for the first time in like a year and a half. And I was like, okay, like, there's maybe one or two lines that were a little diggy, but like everything else was very like my experience from it. So, you're right.
Here's the thing. You can say it's like, I do believe with comedy, like, if you're going to be roasting, it's like, you got to be smarter. You got to be funnier than you are mean. And if the premise of the joke is fuck this person, it's got to be really funny for us all to go, for even the person to go, yeah, fuck me in that instance too. You know, like that's
good joke. Good joke.
Right. Like, in that specific way, you know, you did it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
So
right.
you mentioned something with the special. I want to ask you about this because I think you said that Judd Apatow and Ray Romano got their hands on this in some way.
Yeah. They were helpful. Very helpful.
You met them through the cellar?
Through the cellar.
So I'm sure there's someone out there, and I guess this is, how do you go about talking to someone, you know, that is that big time and respectfully and without being a pain in the ass? I'm sure, you know, there's a lot of people they talk about networking. This is, to me, you networked your way into notes from two like respected artists, comedians. So like, you know, because Ray Romano, you and I know, like
the funniest. There's
the
nobody
funniest guy. Like you and I, and I know everyone knows that, but like maybe they don't know in the way we know. As far as his stand-up is concerned, it is like a joy to watch. And
lights out stand-up.
So how do you go about? Because I would, in my mind, I'd be like, I don't want to like bother these people.
Yeah. I don't have that.
You don't bother anybody. You're a pain in the ass.
Did you see? I'm gonna get back to this answer real quick, but we're not on time crunch or anything, right? We're okay.
No, whatever you need.
Okay, cool. Did you see my crying video in the Knicks one?
We're gonna get to that at the end. That's how we're gonna finish the episode. The crying video. We will see the crying video. And if you don't know Eric for his crying video, you know him for comedy. Go follow him on Instagram. You can go watch the crying video. He is a huge Knicks fan. Congratulations. As a Knicks fan. We are going to play a game at the end of this episode based on your crying video. But so you posted a video. It was and I always say, judge someone by the videos they post of them crying, because there's nothing, you know, a lot of influencers, they'll post a crying video and it's like, I don't think the video's crazy. It's the editing it after you've cried that I can't really imagine. So what was the video about? It was that you were happy the Knicks won?
I'll tell you what happened. So basically, and I'm going to get back to this. It just reminded me of the cellar, so I had to talk to you about it. And I just feel, first of all, dude, I still think about how funny it was. I've repeated this to 20 people at least. I was wearing that Knicks jacket, dude. I crack up to myself sometimes, like on a weekly basis, thinking about. You know what I'm about to mention, right?
Yeah. I have it on video.
I wear this Knicks starters jacket, right? It's like the you know, whatever, like, you know, the starter logo and the Knicks. It's a throwback or whatever. And I bring you on stage and you go, give it up for Eric Neumann. It's his first day of 6th grade, dude. What? And just like the 6th grade was perfect. Like 9th grade too old. 3rd grade would have been like, yeah, but it's 3rd grade. Like 6th grade.
No, the jacket's so new that it did look as if you were like really excited about your first day of school outfit. That was a 6th grade. I'm going to show everyone how cool I've gotten over the summer jacket.
I got my first hand job that summer, dude.
That's right. And you're like, throw on the jacket. It works.
But okay, so the crying video. So here's exactly what happened. I've never actually talked about this on a pod, but everybody keeps bringing it up to me in real life. But I'll talk about it. Here you go. You
got a whole game called "Would You Cry" that we're gonna play at the end.
I love it. So here's the exclusive story on the JTrain podcast.
Thank you.
Basically, I'm in my apartment. The Knicks win the Eastern Conference Finals. They sweep the Cavs. Okay. I take this crying, but I started crying. And you know, there's this instinct being a social media comedian person, whatever, where you're just like, you have an instinct, your hand twitches. You feel like picking up the phone and recording something that's funny or whatever. So I'm crying, and all of a sudden, 2 seconds after it's really starting to come out, I pick up the phone. I just started, with no intention of posting it or sending it to anybody. I just was like, this is a moment in my life. I'm going to keep it. And also, you know how New Yorker I'm very well aware, and I think a lot of hardcore Knicks fans are, of how annoying we are as a fan base. Like I get
I don't find Knicks fans annoying, but I as a sports fan, there are way more annoying fans to me. I found every bit of excitement for the Knicks wonderful. I think it's the second year. I think next year, you know, I think what happens with a fan base is that you win that first one and everyone's like, oh, look at so many years. And my father, you know, my parents were fans and now I'm a fan. All of those stories make sense. It's the second year where if you go far again, you can't be the same as you were the first year. It'll never be that again.
Very Boston sports privilege thing to say.
Yes, I've seen it. Well, this is why people are done with Boston sports fans. We had so many years that there was a certain point, especially with the Patriots, where you're like, if you got that charged up, you're really kind of not acknowledging how much success you've had.
You know what I really honestly think? Because we already have people talking about, well, can we repeat it? Can we whatever? I wish the NBA would be over. Like, I truly want. I think we're wrapped up. I think we're heading into
selfish. That's selfish of you.
Of course it is. We're heading into the last season of Game of Thrones after this. Like, it's like we've done it, man. Like,
as a Patriots fan, I can tell you, or a former Patriots fan, because my brother is a Bears coach, so I've moved on a little bit. But you'll never, nothing's like your first. Nothing's like, you know, no game will feel as good. I'm sorry to be the ghost of Misery Future, but like, I'll never forget the 2001 Patriots. Like, I'll never forget that run. I'll never forget how that felt and how you do have this moment that first time your team wins that you're like, it was destiny. If that didn't happen, if that one thing didn't, if the ball didn't bounce that way. So I get the feeling. It's like, and you don't want to give up that feeling. You'll always have the memories, but I don't think you're ever going to be pushed to tears like you were.
No, I don't think I will. And I already in my head and soul and heart and whatever, I already feel like I said to myself the second it ended, I go, if I never get to witness another Knicks championship, I'm like, I will, my soul is still complete. Like, there's nothing that could happen from this point on. Like, look, I'm going to want them to always win. I'm always going to root for them, whatever. And maybe when I'm 96 years old, if they still haven't won another one, I'm going to have that desperation again and that whatever. But dude, like, I hope 2 years from now, we're not having a conversation and I take this back. But from where I'm sitting right now, dude, part of my life, part of my soul is fulfilled in a way that can't be undone with anything that happens.
This is the payoff for fandom. This is what you get in return. You know, when you get to, this is what it was all for.
Yep. This is what it was all for. So anyway, so I'm recording this video and it's the Eastern Conference Finals. And I have this thought where I go, if I post this now and we don't win the finals, which I'm no matter what they were saying about the Spurs being the favorites, I was like, I don't see how they're heavy favorites here. It's crazy to me. Fine. But I was like, if somehow the Spurs do win and prove Vegas right and this doesn't happen, I'm a fucking asshole for putting this online, right? So what I did, not that I'm not an asshole anyway, but for a different reason. So we go up 3-1 and OG has that tip in, and in all conceivable predictions, the Knicks took the series in that moment, right? I guess there's a 0.1% chance of the Spurs coming back and winning, whatever. But it just felt to me like that was it. And even if somehow we didn't go back to San Antonio and winning Game 5, I just felt like we were winning the series. And I go, I'm going to fucking gamble here and I'm going to throw it online. Dude, first of all, we got to give a shout out to Ricky Velez, a very troubled, mentally ill human being.
You're jumping around here.
Sorry.
Don't give it up for Ricky because he's shared the video 30 times. Finish your story about crying on video.
We are sponsored by Factor. Eating healthy is the best way to take care of yourself, and it's so easy to get started right now thanks to Factor. Factor meals are designed by dietitians and prepared by real chefs, ready in 2 minutes. No planning, no cooking, no dishes after. Factor has a wide variety of meals, all made with nutrient-dense ingredients. It's easy to fit into any diet goal or a schedule. Factor's menu changes weekly, so you always get to try new dishes and seasonal flavors like truffle, butter, filet mignon, and ginger teriyaki salmon. Here's the deal with Factor. When I go off in a direction, when I go in an unhealthy direction, it's because of the time I spend while being hungry trying to figure out that perfect meal. When you slide Factor in for your dinner, you're already being healthier, you're having a delicious meal, and you're getting a meal that's portioned correctly. Your issue is portion control and lack of creativity. Factor is going to fix both of those problems. It's the right portion, and it's done creatively with menu changes weekly. If you're looking for a healthy option on the go, get your greens with one of Factor's pre-made salads. Head to factormeals.com/JTrain50off. Use code JTrain50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box. New subscriptions only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details.
So I post it, and I'm like, first of all, my girlfriend and I had a talk. When I first made it and didn't post it, I sent it directly to her, and I go, haha, what if I post this?
I'm trying not to look too forward, but dude, there's so much pain throughout the years with the Knicks. I've never experienced the finals, going to the finals.
She made it extremely clear in that moment, like, you should not post this. and she's like a waspy Boston girl who you know how the wasps are, dude. They're like, Jews are like, we're hugging each other, kissing each other, touching each other, our emotions, our feelings all the time. You know, it's like the Italians, where they're very like buttoned up and very like, we don't want to share. This was her, like, that was the moment. The fact that she didn't break up with me immediately was the moment I realized how much she loved me.
It's a tough watch. I think for a girlfriend, I don't know if you guys have been intimate since the video's been posted.
We have.
Okay, I wouldn't have been, if you were like, it's been different, I would have understood it. I would have gone, yeah, I could see that. From her,
I said beyond repair, you wouldn't have been shocked.
Not shocked at all. I don't know how she sees you as a sexual partner after the video has been posted, but good for her.
That's fucking hilarious. But I will tell you though, dude, so she hated it. So she was getting made fun of by coworkers and the whole thing, you know, though I felt bad for her. I genuinely did feel bad. But then there was a part of me where I went like, I can't let another human being dictate. I'm at the point in my life where no matter how much shit I'm getting from whoever I'm getting it from, like, I've already fended off my mother, who I love more than anybody, like, for so many years. Like, I can't let a woman come into my life and dictate how I want to operate online or how I want to be seen.
Most mistakes are done out of spite. You know, so you've proven that correct by posting it in spite of your girlfriend saying not to. Here's how you know it's a mistake. You posted it, and you go, I'm not going to listen to another woman. My mom's been telling me what to do. I'm posting it, and now it's out there. Did you get posted on any like Reddit threads? Was there any like?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but like, you know what's crazy to me though? It's like I didn't realize, like, so obviously naturally I walk into. So anyway, I post it. I get shit from her. Ricky shares it 19 times.
Ricky shared it so many times. It's every time he shares it, I laugh.
It's sick. It's like I literally text him. I go, you realize you're mentally ill, right? He goes, dude, I don't care. It's the best video I've ever seen on the internet. He's like going crazy. And so I walk into the cellar, and dude, like, as you can imagine, like, you know, you're a cellar regular, you get it.
Yeah.
Like, everybody. I walk in on Saturday night. This was like maybe 8 days after it's posted. I walk in, and it's kind of died down now. People stop giving me shit. I go, hi, Esty, how are you? She goes, Eric, why are you crying on the internet?
So is that how Judd Apatow saw it?
Did Apatow see it? I don't even know.
Oh, I asked you a question about Judd Apatow and Ray Romano seeing your special, and suddenly we're talking about you crying on the internet. I didn't even bring this up.
Okay. I wanted to get ahead of it. Anyway, so Apatow, so Ray, so the question you asked was basically like, how do you approach people of that caliber?
How do you go up to them and say, "Hey, watch my stuff"? Like that, you know how many people would kill to have those two watch and give an opinion on their art? Like it's a huge deal.
So I think, and this is like a big part of the special, is I've learned kind of no shame from my mom. My mom kind of has no shame in all the best ways. She's very loved and whatever, but kind of just speaks her mind all the time, does not care. And she's very respectful, whatever. The thing I've realized about being in this business, and you're at a level where you've worked with all of your heroes and are at that level of
I got a few heroes to go, but I've worked with
but you've worked, like, I've, throughout, I mean, it's crazy to me what you've accomplished and who you've talked to and are friends with and whatever. And I think you can kind of co-sign on this. No matter what level we're at in this business, and this is something I've just more recently started to understand, is like, we're all people and like have the same insecurities and the same you talked about Ray Romano's stand-up, dude. I think Ray Romano's special that he filmed at the Cellar,
it's great.
At the location, to me, like, everybody talks about certain specials and whatever. This is a special that probably isn't talked about as much, and like on social media, it's not shared or whatever. I think it's one of the most brilliant pieces of art that's ever been. Like, he's a genius, like an undeniable genius. And you talk to Ray, and before this process, I'd only known Ray and, hey, Ray, how are you? How's everything? Whatever. Very few interactions, just sort of nice, hi. You get the sense that there's pretty much no ego there. Right. And just, he's a guy who just wants to do well on stage. He comes in, he's looking at his notes, he wants to do well. And so once you get that general sense about people, no matter what level they're at, I think you start just realizing that they want to be treated like regular people and whatever. Mm-hmm. So obviously Apatow, who's one of the most genius, writers, directors, producers, and by the way, an underrated stand-up. When I watch Apatow, dude, he's funny. I think you just start getting a sense of like, they want to be treated like everybody else or whatever. And obviously you want to be respectful of the level they're at. Like, I'm Eric Neumann and they're fucking Ray Romano and Judd Apatow. I know where, you walk into the Cellar, this JTrain, like, everybody's kind of treated as equal, but everybody knows who the fucking big dogs are.
The hierarchy. I get it.
Yeah.
So how do you start the conversation with them?
So for Ray particularly, it was different for both. For Ray particularly, I saw Ray one night at the Cellar, and I was like, you know what? I was in the middle of editing this, or I had just like finished the first. I think I was just finished the first version of it, and I was like, hey, Ray, and I know he's the ultimate like family comedy guy, right? I mean, everybody knows Raymond is amazing. So I was like, hey, like, I don't feel like there's, I basically said to Ray, I was like, hey, I don't want to bother you. But, and I'm not advocating, I just want to make sure people know, I'm not advocating for people to approach Ray Romano or Judd Apatow,
Okay.
I don't want to be responsible for that. But just in general, when you see someone that you admire, or someone whose work you really like, have watched and want to, sort of be part of in whatever capacity you can. Like with Ray, I was like, I feel like this is something Ray might be able to appreciate because he's the ultimate like family comedy guy. And I wasn't just like, I hate when people go up to people who are big and just go, can you give me this? Can you give me that? Right? It's like, I'm sure you get this a lot now where you're at, like just people who are just like, can I open for you? Can I? And I'm not advocating for that being I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, but just like, everybody wants to be a part of somebody's success, and I think there's a way to do that in a good way and a way not to do that. And so I've always been a strong like supporter of like, wait for the right moment where it really feels like the right moment, because I think instinctually, if you're someone like me who has these like thoughts and desires to like be part of like really cool things and like and have relationships with people whom you admire and have for a long time, I think sometimes it's about saying no to your own desires or your own impulses to do stuff. Like you got Judd Apatow who's doing a movie. Everybody in comedy or in life wants to be a part of that movie. Like,
well, you can't be doing something to get something. I mean, like,
exactly.
if you're genuinely interested in their advice on the project and you're genuinely interested, that will show through. If you're asking them so that they can say, "Oh, I should co-produce this." If you have other ulterior motives, they're gonna know. Everyone's gonna know, and everyone can feel that.
100%. And my advice, my thing, really, my sole purpose. And look, was there a part of me in the back of my head that wanted Apatow or Ray to produce it? 100%. But my real goal, truly, like through and through, was to just get advice and honest notes, honest feedback. And I tell people all the time, I go, when I'm asking you for feedback, please tell me the truth. Like it's not your job to protect my feelings. If I'm coming to you and saying, I want to know, really, then maybe I'll hear shit I don't like, and maybe I'll have to talk to my therapist the next day about it, and maybe I'll fucking cry and film it again. I don't know. But the point is like, if I admire your, like, what you do, and I want to hear what you have to say about something I'm doing, I need to be ready for anything. And so Ray sat down, he watched it, he gave me a page full of notes that were like,
that's amazing.
90% glowingly positive and 10% like, hey, I would like fix up this or do this a little better or whatever. And I took them very seriously, and I went back and I made those edits, and I sent him the next one and said, hey, at minute 21:30, you want to make, these are the busiest people in the world. You want to make their lives as easy as possible while still making them feel good for helping you and being involved. So same thing with Apatow. Like Apatow, I sent him 5-minute version of it, which is like the first 5 minutes. And I felt like it was just, that's all I had ready at that point. I had approached him earlier than I had approached Ray. And I was just like, here's 5 minutes of it. Like, tell me where you think it should go. Tell me what your feedback is. And he sat with me for like 10 minutes very generously and was just like, your character needs to change. Her character needs to change. And we reshot stuff. We spent, like, my editor and director and I went 2 more days and like got footage of me on stage and got footage to kind of like aid what his, suggestions were. And we went back and we did it again. And look, don't get me wrong. I'll be perfectly honest here. At the end of it, I went like, hey, will you guys produce this? And they didn't want to, and fine. But that was actually, whether they produced it or not, to me was less valuable than them giving me the feedback that made the project go where I needed it to go and to get to a place ultimately that Roku wanted and we're in motion. So yeah,
well,
I think
we're excited to watch it. I want everyone to go check it out. It's called the Call Your Mom special. Go check it out. Go check out Eric Neumann at Eric Neumann. It is out right now because this is going to come out the day after. It is out. Call Your Mom. Let's play a game based on your famous crying video. You cried because the Knicks won a championship or because they won the game. It was the Anunoby game. So it is a video of you crying. I want to ask you, would you cry? Ready? The love of your life leaves you for another man, but they are the 6th man for the Knicks.
Yeah, because I think I have to, that's a very good question, man. I don't know if I would, I wonder if it would hurt me more or less. It's hard to know, like, because I'm definitely crying from the love of my life leaving me. I have, or not the love of my life, but at that point of my life, but the Knicks add an interesting twist to it. Yeah, I'm kind of I think it might hurt more, or am I helping the team? Like, yeah, I'd probably cry more.
The Knicks enter the Olympics as a team. They allow the world champion Knicks to enter the Olympics, and they beat the USA to win gold. Do you cry?
Oh, yeah, because that's another level, and it's an extension of. I won't cry as much as I cried initially. I don't think there's anything the Knicks could do now that could and I hope I'm wrong, but that can combat the magnitude of that experience for me. But yes, I would cry because it's like a new exception for my team and whatever, and it's huge on a mass scale. So yeah, I'm gonna cry.
Last one. The
Yeah.
Knicks bring you on the court at the ring ceremony and give you a championship ring for being the number one Knicks fan.
I'm going to cry hysterically into James Dolan's arms.
Eric Neumann, everyone go follow. It is called Call Your Mom. You're going to love the special. I'm Jared Freid. Chit Chat Wednesday, back next week. Boom.